not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
What am I even doing? What? I truly don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. Because it's Saturday night. And you know what time it is. Apparently, time for the Mark Order Collidercast. Whatever the fuck that is. Sorry, I don't mean to work blue. I don't mean to work blue. I'm your special guest host tonight, AntMoney, who apparently does Saturdays in other people's eyes. These glasses mean that I don't work Saturdays. Okay? I'm too big for Saturdays, if we're being honest. I keep this train going Wednesday nights, not Saturday nights. Anyway, we'll get to all of that as this show gets underway. But I would like to introduce everybody tonight. I do have a special guest, as I said on our socials. Apparently, Schlong is on a boat because, I don't know, I guess he'll leave Philadelphia for a boat, but not for New Jersey. And who knows where Asian Joe is? I mean, he's the dependable one. He's reliable. I don't know where he is. He's apparently unavailable, air quotes. So I'm here as your special guest host on a Saturday night for our Collidercast. And I do have my legal counsel with me tonight, Mr. Walsh, Joseph Walsh, Esquire. How you doing, pal?
Doing well. Good evening, everyone. Very excited for this evening's card, but I'm somewhat confused. Why are you here again? I mean, the boat, and we don't know MIA, but okay.
I mean, Joe is usually the reliable one. That's the crazy thing. Schlong is what it is, okay? But Joe is the one that's shocking. That is truly shocking. I can't believe he's not here for this Collidercast, especially if we're being honest, because this is it's a good card tonight.
Big one.
It's a good card. We'll show you what we're working with here. If you give me a minute, I'm trying to work out all the Collidercast stuff. Oh, layouts and all that stuff. So give me a moment here. So as you can see here, it's quite a card tonight on Collision, the January 27th edition. Serena Deeb is going to make her return to action tonight. Out of last night's Rampage episode, we're going to have Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty versus Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. That should be pretty heavy hitting.
Somebody's going to bleed.
Somebody. It might be Moxley. I don't know. Mariah May is going to be squaring off against Lady Frost. Lady Frost is pretty awesome, Mr. Walsh. If you're not familiar with Lady Frost, this should be fun. We also have Orange Cassidy defending his international championship versus Commander, who had a fantastic match last night on Rampage. It was a 4-way for a shot at the international title, so that should be good. Bryan Danielson versus Yuji Nagata. Again, somebody might bleed in that match, but somebody's chest may be rubbed a little raw by the end. And then in our main event, it's an escape the cage elimination cage match. FTR and the Red Death, Daniel Garcia. He's always going to be the Red Death to me. I don't care what they say. Versus the House of Black. So that should be exciting. It should be a good night. But again, Asian Joe, for some reason, nowhere to be found. And then Schlong on a boat, because that's more important than his duties on a Saturday night.
He did say duty. It is escape the cage.
Escape the cage. They're calling it an escape the cage elimination cage match. I don't think now they'll tell us, I assume, when we get there, but I don't believe that means you have to escape the cage. I just believe that means that somebody's got to get out alive, by defeating everybody else.
Like to know the stakes.
Yeah. So, again, we're assuming that they're going to tell us about that. But we will see. We're a few minutes away from the start of Collision. So Mr. Walsh, you've appeared on this show, I think one time in the bed behind me, which isn't in frame tonight. As you were here when we saw Metallica. And I also, I need to say what's up to Eric Freed's checking in the chat. Also, Kyle K. Sparks checking in the chat. So hello to both of you.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Especially, look, even Kyle K. Sparks understands. Won't be watching live. I'm out with the family, but wanted to drop in and say we appreciate you stepping up to cover that slacker Schlong.
Glad to be here.
Schlong shirking his duties once again. And Eric Freeds is very happy to see you, Joe. He says, big get for the pod.
I think he may have me confused with somebody else, but hey, we'll take it.
Well, I'm happy you're here. How have things been with you lately since we've seen you in the bed relaxing?
Since I've seen you in the bed relaxing, I've recovered from my trip to New Jersey, and business is picking up, and in the process of doing some demolition and some renovation at the office. And let's see, what that was 2 old school references, right, to a tag team and
a
certain announcer, right? But yeah, family's good, work is good, and excited for the opportunity to be a more active participant this evening, despite having to fill some shoes tonight, but we'll do what we can.
I don't know if you can fill Asian Joe's shoes, but I do know you certainly will fill Schlong's shoes 2 times over. So,
little feet, huh?
No, yeah, very tiny feet. And Joe, as I said, we're getting ready for the start of the show here in a couple minutes, but through the night, I do want to talk about my legal dispute that I feel like I have. It's clearly a breach of contract on their part, not mine.
Oh, of course. You're here.
And I know that right now in the wrestling community, I'm probably the only person with the biggest legal issue going on right now. So
I would say probably.
Yeah. So we do have some things to discuss through the show tonight. But of course, as they tend to do here on the Collidercast, we're going to be watching the show together. So if you are streaming along with us, have the show up. Again, depending on how you're watching, we're watching online. You might be watching on cable. You might be slightly ahead or behind us. So, we'll work through that. Feel free to chat along. We'll be pulling you guys up in the chat. If you got things you want to share, questions you want to ask of us, please feel free. But we will certainly be talking about the legal dispute, about what we're seeing on the show, and pretty much anything else that crosses our brain, because you've also got a big football game coming up tomorrow, Mr. Walsh. You're a 49er fan.
Yeah. I think the most embarrassing thing, though, is that they might actually lose to the Lions. If you told me before the season started that they were going to match up with the Lions in the NFC Championship game, I'd say sign me up. But I don't know. I think Debo's supposed to play, so
yep.
hopefully they're back to full strength.
Debo is going to be playing. At least he practiced the other day. So that's good for you. But, I mean, listen, I think you have a good shot against the Detroit secondary.
Agreed.
So, the show just started. No intro tonight. They're just sort of going cold open. Unless I know sometimes they do like that little video replay sort of recap, and then they do their open. So maybe they're going to do an intro, like the ring introduction, and then play their intro. But it sure doesn't look like that for me, Joe.
Yeah, apparently not. Mox almost took a spill there. He almost was bleeding before he even made it to the ring the hard way. But
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That is still water in the bottles, right?
Yeah. Yes, for him, I sure hope so. But I will say this: they're in Bossier City, Louisiana tonight.
Oh, no.
And they are showing a recap of Rampage last night. We'll touch on Rampage maybe a little bit. I know maybe you didn't see it, Joe, but we'll cover it so the people listening know about what happened. But last night, Mox had a fight against Lee Moriarty, and he did win. But post-match, Shane Taylor, who was hanging out around ringside, got involved, and he helped put the boots to Mox. So this became sort of a match out of what happened post-match last night.
I see.
Now, Joe, can I ask you, and it's quite all right if you're not familiar, are you familiar with Shane Taylor? Have you heard of him? Have you seen him?
No, I'm more familiar with Moriarty, but mainly because that's such a wonderful name. It really is. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but Lee Moriarty. But no, I'm not familiar with the other gentleman.
So Shane Taylor was really a staple in Ring of Honor, before TK brought the company. And he's been able to, I guess, stick with the company or get a new contract with AEW to primarily be in Ring of Honor. But clearly he's got a shot here tonight on Collision. He is sort of the head of what they call Shane Taylor Promotions. And Joe, I got to tell you, I hope you're going to be impressed because Shane Taylor, clearly a big dude, but he can go. He's pretty awesome.
Big right hand.
Yeah, him and Mox have been squaring off to start this match. Castagnoli and Moriarty are clearly on the apron. They also have a match tonight. I guess they got it added before I had the match card pulled up. Looks like Eddie Kingston's going to be facing Willie Mack. And if Willie Mack wins, he'll get a shot at the Continental Championship. So that should also be good. Willie Mack can wrestle. We'll talk about Willie as we get there tonight. But
Eliminator match, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. They call them all sorts of different stuff. It's an eliminator. In Ring of Honor, it's called a proving ground match. So I don't know where it sort of falls in line with here tonight, but pretty good match so far. Castagnoli making his way into the ring, and I did enjoy. They were wearing the new shirts on the way out. Joe, have you seen those new shirts where they're all different character, like an animated character?
It looked like he was wearing a Jerry shirt, right? Jerry of Tom and Jerry, or some sort of bastardization thereof.
It might have been a cat, but the funny thing is they're all sort of like animated animals, and they're all sort of beat up. Like Danielson's has an eye patch because he had the eye patch on for a while.
Sure.
I think Castagnoli's has a black eye that's swollen shut. And it says Blackpool Combat Club across the top in like cartoon letters. And then on the bottom below the picture, they all say violent by, something. So like somebody's might say violent by design. Somebody's might say violent by character. My favorite is Wheeler Yuta's says violent by circumstance because he was sort of thrown into the Blackpool Combat Club, which is a fun little nod there. So pretty standard fare so far. They're already on the outside of the ring. So Mox might bleed shortly here.
Moriarty hasn't had very much involvement in this match. It looks like he was spending some time on the floor for the tag that was had not too long ago. Who's the legal man right now? AntMoney. Should still be Claudio, right?
It's Castagnoli, and then I'm honestly not sure if Shane Taylor tagged out or if
Moriarty jumped in to stop a pin.
He might have. And then Mox sort of threw him out. And that's why they're brawling on the outside now. Castagnoli on the other side, the wrong side of the barricade there. So this is par for the course for the Blackpool Combat Club. And Joe, sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you.
I was going to say, it looks like Mox is having a seat and he's about ready to
zip himself.
Old zipperhead.
Oh, big leg drop on the apron by Shane Taylor. Joe, are you aware of sort of what's been going on with the Blackpool Combat Club as of recent?
Not. Fill me in.
So, Mox has been throwing out these promos about, not necessarily about the Blackpool Combat Club, about how people have to like get on his level, and he said even like his own teammates, and he even said something like, we don't pat each other on the back, we don't do that, but people better step up. So it's just interesting. I wonder if they're gonna maybe look to bust this up a little bit, if not the whole thing. Maybe like Wheeler Yuta comes out and they put in, Daniel Garcia. That would be a nice addition to that faction.
Agreed. I think that Wheeler would certainly be the one to try and spin off. I think the rest of these guys have pretty well had some halfway decent runs, to put it mildly. But I think that if they could somehow elevate Wheeler, that would be certainly good for him and get some more high-level talent moving up the card.
Yeah, Wheeler has had some good runs as part of the Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, I think he currently holds the Ring of Honor Pure title.
Wow. Great suplex.
Holy moly. Yeah, you're slightly ahead of me, which is quite all right. But yeah, I mean, Claudio is a beast. My God. And that brings up an interesting thing for me too, Mr. Walsh. Claudio's a guy when he came in. By the way, that's a nice t-shirt you got on. Just saying. It's a nice t-shirt.
Gotta support the team.
That wasn't on the arm either. That wasn't just because you're my legal counsel.
No. That was purchased officially. The real deal Holyfield.
We thank you for your support.
Of course.
So quickly just jumping back to Claudio. What's been interesting is that Claudio, I guess, like I was really excited about him coming in from the WWE.
Sure.
Especially because his pre-WWE, Ring of Honor, matches were really great. He had good matches in WWE too. Indeed. But you figured now seeing what some of these guys were able to do when they got out of that system, I was really, really hyped up about him. He's had some good matches, but I really just feel like they haven't pushed him into a place where he's really found his own since coming in. Ooh, giant swing. Lee wants a timeout. My goodness.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a nice surprise when we were at Forbidden Door and he came out. I wasn't expecting him. I know there was some speculation that maybe it was going to be like Johnny TV, and I know that we were hanging out before the show. We were doing some pretty in-depth speculation as to who it was, and I can't remember. Was his opponent Zack Sabre Jr. that day? I don't remember off the top of my head, but that match was a good one. It really was.
It was. Shit. When was that? When was that? 2022? No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh.
Oh, Lee with the roll up. Oh boy. Stupid move, Lee. Oh. Wow. What a wow. I'm looking up Forbidden Door right now. Let's see the store or the match card as we get to it. Come on, give me the results. Let's see. We had blah blah blah. Bishamon, Lance Archer, Swerve in Our Glory, Caster, Minoru Suzuki, FTR, Pack, Attitudes, Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, Claudio. Yes, you are correct with Zack Sabre Jr.
About that. You know, back to the T-shirt, I figured given all of the billables that you've had to pay to me, I figured it was the least I could do to get some money back into your pocket.
Well, I appreciate it. You've got the money to throw around, but then again, I guess so do I, based on my name.
Hey.
You know, the other thing I hope you know too, Joe, is I had to set the record straight because I think there were some people speculating that my legal counsel may have been Smart Mark Sterling, but I was like, no. It's not. But I will put it out into the universe that if Smart Mark Sterling would like to join the legal counsel, I'm sure you would like to have him.
Of course. There's always room. There's always room. And I mean, given the oh my goodness, given the contractual disputes that you've been having to put up with just internally within the Mark Order podcast, specifically the Saturday Night Collidercast, we can use all the help we can get.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Mox gets the win here, just to catch everybody up. Mox gets the win as we're talking with I don't know. Listen, I don't know all the move names, but he chokes out Shane Taylor. And Lee Moriarty can't get the stop. So BCC victorious over Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. But I think it went the way everybody sort of expected. And it was the match I think most people expected. Hard hitting. You know, Claudio's going to lay it in. I mean, he's not going to do anything halfway. So we're going to move on. It looked like Mox was going to get the microphone, but I guess not, which would be interesting if he was going to cut a promo. But there's a lot of shit on this card tonight, so they probably don't have a lot of time for extra stuff. So we're going to go back to Lexi Nair right now. So we're just waiting to cut back. She was with Commander and the Undisputed Kingdom, and I'm sure, Roddy is interested because Roddy wants to talk to Commander right now. Also great that Matt Taven said gracias to Commander for giving him their time. So, Joe, the story here, as they're talking, Roddy is part of the Undisputed Kingdom. The Devil's Adam Cole, right? So he wants to win the International Championship at Revolution. So he's trying to cut a deal where, well, he didn't leave him any room to not make a deal. He grabbed his hand and shook it, trying to cut a deal for Commander to help him out tonight. Well, I don't know. Wow. And it looks like right from there, we're going to our International Championship match. Commander and Orange Cassidy. It is weird, Joe. I still don't understand this, why sometimes the champion comes out first.
Yeah, it is somewhat strange. And, you would, thinking back to when we were much
really
younger.
Quick, just shield your eyes. There's heavy pyro that goes off for Orange Cassidy. Just be careful. Heavy pyro. There it is. Okay. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Back to our time as you know.
But yeah, back to, when we were younger viewers, the champion always used to come out last. But OC always is different. And his he was a revelation when I first saw him, and I've enjoyed his work ever since. He's a wonderful character.
You know, Joe, the crazy thing is he was one of these guys who it seemed like everybody, seemingly, again, because I don't have the whole story, but it seemed like everybody had told him, like, you're never gonna work.
Right.
It's not, this isn't a gimmick that people are gonna get. They don't like funny, they don't like this or that. He has clearly shown you that you don't need to necessarily worry about a gimmick if you've got the talent to back it up, because he's incredible. I mean, I still don't know how he does these sequences with his hands in his pockets. It's ridiculous.
Indeed it is.
And I've seen it a zillion times, and every time he does it, I'm still like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is phenomenal.
It is wow, that's a pretty belt. And I'm just harkening back because that already happened. So I'm not there now, Joe. I'm just letting you know I'm not that far behind. But yeah, I mean, and just because we're about to get this match underway, bell ringing. Joe, are you any familiar with Commander?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his aerial exploits.
Yeah.
I've had opportunity to see him run the ropes from turnbuckle to turnbuckle on a number of occasions, and I appreciate the high flyer. So I'm expecting some high flying moves out of these gentlemen here. Some good technical wrestling to start, though.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't. I know you do keep up with AEW when possible. You are a high powered attorney, so your time is precious, and time
Indeed.
is money, and who knows better than me?
That's right. Hey,
but I'm glad, because I was going to say, if you didn't know anything about Commander, this should be a lot of fun for you. This should be a ton of fun. And they did show the video package, but just to those who maybe didn't see it, last night on Rampage, there was the 4-way match. Commander defeated El Hijo del Vikingo, who is another phenomenal lucha-style wrestler. Kip Sabian and the Butcher. And that match was a lot of fun. I was just a little surprised out of that match that Kip Sabian didn't seem all there for the entirety of the match. He had a couple moves that he just botched, and I'm like, oh man, you're better than this, Kip. But I'm glad that Commander came out on top, because this should be a fun match. I would have been happy if like the Butcher won too. But
well, of course, the Butcher is just by David and Goliath type dynamic there with if the Butcher were to have won last night, and that would have just changed the complexion of this match entirely.
Oh, sure. Wow. This reversal of this sort of behind the back hold. I guess it's a submission move, but I have no idea. Oh yeah, there it goes. Joe, what would you do if somebody tried to hold you in that position? Because, oh my God, putting his hands in his pockets? Come on. It's ridiculous.
I'm not quite sure. I guess I would just go limp, but then again, I don't know if I'm then assisting the if that's what the call of the question would be. They're phenomenal athletes, man. They really are.
The Kip up with his hands in his pockets too. Just stupid. I often say, Mr. Walsh, I would love to know what it feels like to have full control of your body at all times. Like the way these guys control their body through the air. I'm lucky to do that walking on 2 feet.
Here. Agreed.
Just ridiculous. Well, Commander's getting ready. Wind it up. And little Spider-Man pose. I enjoy it. Little Marvel superhero pose. Who doesn't love it? Orange Cassidy's just like, whatever, man. Oh, Commander showing a little bit of muscle, stopping that. Never mind. So this should be. This match is already a ton of fun. I just can't believe it's second match of the night and we're already to the International Championship.
Loaded card tonight. Loaded card tonight.
And excited to see Serena Deeb coming back to the women's division tonight.
That should be fun. Looking forward to it.
I mean, we'll talk about it when we get there, but they've really been doing a lot of heavy lifting with the women's division in AEW, and it's been good stuff.
A lot of them just need an opportunity, and putting more than one match for more than 5 minutes on a show, you're gonna get more eyeballs. You really will, if they're able to continue to emphasize the ladies division. It's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good talent in AEW's locker room with the ladies,
and they've brought in good talent. Deonna Purrazzo recently coming in, Mariah May just getting started. Big rumors that Mercedes Moné is on her way in, even though there are still people who are convinced she's showing up in another brand. But I mean, what I'm just happy to see is that lately, when we've been uber critical on our Wednesday night show of the women's division, it's no secret how most of us feel like the women's division just sort of has gotten shortchanged a lot. And it's just the fact that it seems like they will start stories and then finish them and then have nothing
Right.
for the champion to do. Now it seems like they are definitely expanding that. And I mean, I'm quite surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be. There are 2 women's matches on this show tonight. Now, I don't know how long those matches are going to be. I'm hoping they're more than like 10 minutes combined, but it definitely is something we should be able to get 2 matches a night. We've been saying it even on Wednesdays. I mean, it's like beating a dead horse sometimes, but on Wednesday nights, we have often said, you could have cut this segment. You could have added a second women's match. Like, what are we doing? So I'm just glad that we're seeing it. Whoa, Orange Cassidy tossing around Commander in picture. Like, I don't know, a sack of dirty laundry. I don't know. So Joe, they're in picture. Maybe we should take a moment just to maybe talk through a little bit of this dispute that I have.
Sure.
So again, I am not contractually obligated to show up on a Saturday night. It's not my gig.
That's right.
My contract clearly says, and they just came back, but we can still talk through this. I mean, this match is great, but I need to talk about this. So, Commander Nearfall. So I'm only a 1 night a week guy because they can't afford more than that, and that's okay.
This is true. True.
They scraped together enough. Now, here's the other thing, sir. Last week, they scraped together enough nickels and dimes to get me to appear as a special guest on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get on, and Kate is here.
It's just strange days. Days.
I am almost certain, and you read my contract. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have solo appearance rights. I am a draw.
Absolutely.
As a guest.
You're a draw wherever you are, sir.
Cheers to you. This is coffee because I got to stay up for this because usually I'm not sitting at a computer desk watching wrestling on a Saturday.
Understood. Yeah, I think as far as your contract goes, though, I really think that should this, I guess, how would I put this? The this last minute obligation, where they've just kind of dumped this on you. I think that It could be grounds for renegotiation of the contract. I think that we need to potentially include some additional clauses that may ensure, a certain notice period. And if that notice period isn't complied with, then the fee goes through the roof.
I don't know how much more they can afford. I mean,
this is true. I did only buy one shirt.
That's true. And I that's why you're my legal counsel, because nobody else can segue like that. I should take a moment to let people know you can support us by buying a t-shirt. If you go to any of our socials at Mark Order Pod, you can find the link tree in our bio, and you can click over to our Pro Wrestling Tees store. You can also go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mark Order Pod, or just search the Mark Order Podcast on Pro Wrestling Tees, and you will have our store pop right up. We've got 4 shirts up for sale, and there are 2 front prints, 2 front and back prints. And any money you spend there comes back to this show, well, to the Mark Order Podcast entity, I should say, so that we can put that money back into the production that we do for this show to go on at the professional level that we do this show. So thank you to everybody who's already bought a shirt, like you, Mr. Walsh. And thank you to everybody who is planning to purchase one in the future. And I dropped it there, but you can follow us on all our socials at Mark Order Pod on X, Instagram, Twitter, or Twitter is X.
Right.
X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We're back on Facebook. I got us banned.
You did?
I put a picture up as my profile photo over Christmas. Joe, I know you've seen the film, Commander. My goodness. That hurricane run off the ropes. Ooh. Orange punch miss. Ooh. God, I hope Commander's okay there. He slammed his head with that poison Rana, I guess it was. My goodness. Anyway, shit, now I forgot what I was saying, because I'm like, I hope Commander can see straight.
You started to say that I've seen a film.
Oh, you've seen Trading Places.
Have not.
What?
Yeah, I know. What kind of Aykroyd guy am I?
Seriously.
I know.
I don't think you enjoy any of the films in his catalog. But
no.
I'm
a big 1941 guy.
Yeah. Please tell me you saw that run the ropes dive off the top into the kingdom. Unfortunately, looks like that's gonna bite him in the ass here as Orange hits the orange punch for the 3 count and the win to retain the international championship. But what a phenomenal match. Commander just continues to do good work when they put him on screen. My goodness.
Indeed, it was a good one.
So as I was saying, Joseph, Trading Places,
mm-hmm.
You should see it, but there was a moment in that film where Aykroyd dresses up as Santa.
I have seen photos.
Okay. Oh boy, Roddy's in the ring now, coming face to face with Orange Cassidy. I'll get back to that in a moment. Tell you how we got banned from Facebook momentarily. Roddy goes to give him the international championship and drops it right before he can grabs it. How's that for a fuck you? Orange is a little perturbed, as much as he can be for a guy who doesn't care.
It's true.
Nice show of sportsmanship, helping Commander off the mat. Orange raises his arm. Kingdom's up the ramp. Oh, backstage. Oh no, Danny Garcia's been attacked. Oh, he's bloody.
He's real bloody.
He is bloody. Daddy Magic's back there, helping him out. And Rick Knox, who's just useless in the ring, is also useless backstage.
Daddy Magic is wonderful.
He's the best. He's one of the best. So they're taking a commercial break. So Joe, so he dresses up as Santa, and there is a photo of him. Well, not a photo, but there's a scene where he is down on his luck. He's broke because they have switched places. Him and Eddie, and he's standing outside in the rain, or he's standing outside and it starts to pour. I think he has a pistol and he puts it up against his head.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a screenshot of that because it was it's holiday season. I thought it was funny. I'm not Dan Aykroyd. Well, no. Facebook did not enjoy that. Facebook said, and that was my personal account, obviously not the Mark Order account. But Facebook said it's against their community rules. The algorithm got me. And they flagged my account and put me in Facebook timeout. And unfortunately for this show, it meant that I couldn't put the live broadcast on Facebook.
For this show in particular that we're doing right now.
Well, for any show that's part of the Mark Order podcast, I could not from like December 18th till January 18th. They put me in a month of timeout.
Wow.
And I could do other stuff. Like I could just post regular stuff. But they were like, oh, if you think this is a mistake, you can appeal that. So I was like, okay, let me appeal this. And there was no way to click an appeal. No click. Nothing. Does not click. It just highlights the word appeal. But we're back now, baby. We're back. And I am not suicidal.
No.
So I don't know what's coming up next, but clearly questions about what's going to happen with Danny Garcia. And it sounds like you've got some ideas of where we can go with my contract because, it's a problem.
Contracts are made to be broken. So we just got to get through some additional fine print in order to determine what else we can do for you and how we can potentially continue to keep the bucks flowing.
Yes, the bucks. I like it. That's my language. Oh, we're coming back. So let's see. Oh, she is timeless, Joe.
Indeed, she is.
Toni Storm is timeless. This whole thing they've got going on with timeless Toni Storm and Luther, the butler, fantastic. So Mariah, this was from Wednesday. Mariah is hoping that timeless Toni Storm is going to watch it. She said it sounds fantastic. And she, Zion. Unfortunately, it sounds like because it's in Bossier City, she is not going to be there. Poor Mariah. The eventual breakup here is going to be fantastic. And Deonna Purrazzo. Joe, Deonna Purrazzo from New Jersey.
I was reading that.
Livingston.
No kidding.
I think she was born in Livingston, or maybe moved to Livingston. But yes, Livingston. I don't try not to give anything away about our shoot stuff, but we wouldn't have crossed paths.
Not in. Are we similar in age?
Nope, not at all.
All right. Well.
Not at all. That's why I said we wouldn't have crossed paths.
Nope, no helicopter rides to islands for either of us.
No. No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
you got money, but not that kind of money.
no, 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 not that I'd want to go to that. Good to see Lady Frost on a Saturday night. Joe, I've gotten to see Lady Frost wrestle in Rawway at WrestlePro, New Jersey. She's pretty awesome. I think she was a gymnast at one point, or like a cheerleader or something like that. 'Cause she can do all sorts of crazy fucking handsprings and shit like that.
All the flippy shit, huh?
All that shit. Speaking of Frost, I know there's a movie coming out that you're excited for, and that I think I'm a little excited for.
Yeah, Frozen Empire. Looking forward to that. Another installment of the Ghostbusters universe, and fingers crossed that they continue to have some good success with where they're going in the direction that they are in. I'm amazed at how snake bit that franchise has been between COVID with Afterlife and then the writer's strike, and just it seems like every time that they try and get, what'd you say?
I said the same thing.
Oh.
Ooh, as they get underway here, heavy hitting, man. A lot of punches to the chest area.
Yeah. Oh, ice cold.
Ice cold. Well, speaking of Frozen Empire, Joe, did you see what they did yesterday on Instagram? I don't think you're on Instagram.
Not, but I did see that Ice Cube and some looky eyes. So maybe another trailer here, not before too long.
Well, I can tell you, probably a trailer, but it revealed a hidden message.
Oh, really?
So I didn't get it until I looked at the rest of their Instagram page. In the caption on all the pictures, there were letters that were covered by an ice cube. So I sat with Mrs. Money and I said, "Hey, write this down." And she was writing the letters out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "Okay, can you read that back to me?" And she was like, AKA, they go to picture in picture. So we're a full cutaway away from this being a true women's match. Can't believe they still do this bullshit. So she started reading it back to me. She was like, AKAARR, whatever. And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound right. I said, do it the other way. And actually, when you did it backwards, it said, beware Garaka.
Garaka. I believe that's the new big bad.
That is.
So curious to see what that's all about. But yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
The other thing, it jogged my memory. I turned around so I could show you. I was out and about today with the boy, and I thought I saw that they had announced that they were doing a new series of comic books that were going to tell the story between the two movies of Afterlife and the new one.
Yeah.
And I thought that they had come out, but they did not. But either way, I went to a comic book store with the boy.
Sure.
And they didn't have those because obviously they're not out. They actually, I think I saw issue 1 comes out like March 27th. So it actually comes out after the film releases because they pushed it up by a week.
That's right.
But I did happen to find some other Ghostbusters comic books. It's a total shoot. I'm not bullshitting you at all.
Really?
So I found
they took away the picture in picture.
It's an official women's match.
What is that?
Official.
I hate the picture in picture to begin with, but then for them to do it and then completely and totally take it, what's the point?
I know. Well, it gives me a moment to show you my purchases from today. I did find issue 1 cover A of Ghostbusters Displaced Aggression.
Oh, very nice.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm familiar with that one.
I was able to find a couple other comic books, Slimer comics. So this is issue 4.
Old.
Yeah,
I have that.
issue 4.
Wow.
Don't say anything, but I might also have it and don't remember, but I was just like, I'm buying it.
I don't blame
Back
you.
to the match, by the way. Slimer issue number 13, also starring the real Ghostbusters.
I don't have that one. That looks like seeing gray.
No, Winston's in his proper uniform color.
Cerulean aqua.
Yes. Also Slimer issue number 6.
Don't have that one. Very nice.
And one issue of the real Ghostbusters issue 16 with a free giant full color pinup inside.
Very cool. Don't have that one either.
So that was pretty good. Pretty good. I'll thumb through them and I'm back in the boards. Lady Frost with a good showing, by the way, as you know, they've been back in this match. Lady Frost with a pretty good showing right now.
I've enjoyed what I've seen.
She's really good.
Is she from where's she from?
Lady Frost? Honestly, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look her up as well. Lady Frost, Erie, PA, born in Erie, PA, billed from Imperial Iceland. Oh, Mariah May miss in the corner. Oh,
big kick.
Check this out, Joseph. Here we go. Lady Frost in the opposite turnbuckle corner. Oh, boy.
Smashing.
Just fantastic. She's going up to the top. Lady Frost going up to the top. Mariah starting to stir, taking too long. Ooh. Double fist right in the butt cheeks. Well, I knew how that was going to sound, which is why I said butt cheeks. And Joe, if you don't know, Mariah May spent time in Japan. Good wrestler herself. This is only she's only been wrestling in AEW. She had debuted before the end of the year, but she just started wrestling in 2024. So she's just getting started.
Wow.
Hits the 3 count for the win. She's fantastic. And when they really get her rolling, she can be one of these next up in the women's division. You know what I mean?
Was she in All Japan, New Japan, something different?
Listen, to be honest, I am not a Japanese wrestling expert. She might have. If anybody's listening in the chat, you can chime in. I don't know. But she's fantastic. She did well in Japan. So they're going to get
Louisiana.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be part of her story is definitely going to be at some point. I think everybody sort of agrees her splitting off from Toni Storm. And that's just going to be a phenomenal story to tell, because she came in and she's like, I've followed the same path Toni Storm did in Japan, and I'm a huge fan. So we're lining up all the pieces. We'll get there eventually. So they're showing some Wednesday matches. Dealer's choice. Swerve's going to pick Hangman's match, and Hangman's going to pick Swerve's match. It's because I think they reinstituted the rankings this past week. Swerve's cutting a promo. And he's clearly talking about his feud with Hangman Adam Page. And Joe, did you happen to see their Texas Death Match? I
did have opportunity to see some stills of it, as well as a handful of bits on Twitter. I didn't see the complete match. I know of all of the blood and blood from one's mouth to the other. And I also remember, or I also recall seeing the I guess it would be the promo where Swerve was in Hangman's house and like
Yeah.
in and around the crib. And man, that would, as a father, that was tough to see. And my wife happened to walk into the room while that was on the television, and she goes, "What are you watching and why?" So
Yeah.
the wife is not a Swerve Strickland fan.
That means he's doing his job.
That's right. That's right.
And a couple things to catch up on. Thomas Gibbons on Facebook. Thank you for checking us out, Thomas. Let us know stardom for Mariah May. I think I said stardom, but I was not 100% sure. So thank you, Thomas, for confirming. And then they said there, Joe, in that promo, Swerve, it looks like, set up the match for Hangman Page against Toa Leona. So Toa is a member of the Gates of Agony in Ring of Honor. He's also had some time in AEW on their television, but he's a big boy who can move as well. AEW is almost like an embarrassment of riches for big men who can move.
Always had an affinity for the big guys that could move. Bam Bam especially, Vader. But yeah, it's nice to see a new crop of professional wrestlers.
That's right.
That are
and
big.
Bam Bam from Asbury Park, the beast from the East.
There he is.
Gotta love it. Nobody else that I give a shit about came out of Asbury Park, so.
Bruce is all right. They love him here in Indiana.
Do they?
Almost as much as Mellencamp.
Hey, by the way, that... oh, boy. I actually didn't... Kyle K. Sparks, who checked in earlier, is out, and I think in Michigan. I should maybe hook it up.
Maybe.
Kyle K. Sparks. Good people.
Very good.
So they're in a commercial break. Here on Saturday nights, we don't do commercial breaks because there's not enough time to get in a 20-minute commercial. But certainly, as we've sort of said before, we'll remind you can follow us on our socials at Mark Order Pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and any podcast platform pretty much that you are listening to your podcast on. We're on Amazon Music for sure. For some reason, there are two of us on Amazon. I don't know. One might have been an old RSS feed. It ends with like episode 44. We're up to like episode 148. So if you're checking us, if you're looking on Amazon Music, follow the right one, subscribe, listen to us on there. We're also on iHeartRadio now. So we can be found there. YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all those places. So if you are listening in podcast form, we thank you. If you'd be so kind as subscribe, like, rate, review in podcast form, it helps us out greatly in the algorithms. Oh, we're back with Hangman Adam Page. He doesn't sound like he cares about Toa Leona. Now he's gonna pick Swerve's opponent. So let's see. He's gonna wait.
Gonna keep us around to the end.
Wait a minute. Did you catch that? I was talking and I might have talked over it for you. But he said, Swerve, you're gonna have to wait the whole effing show to find out. Thinking. That could be fun.
All the gold.
Eddie Kingston making his way to the ring. Again, champion making his way out first. Unless Willie Mack's already in the ring, which very well could be. He's not. What the hell are we doing? It's funny, Joe, because there is logic to the champion coming out second. Because you don't want to get jumped on your way out to the ring.
Sure. I'm excited to see this Willie Mack character. Hope he gets a beating on it, Eddie.
What? Come on. You haven't seen, not familiar with Willie Mack.
I'm about to be.
Willie Mack was in TNA, Impact, whatever the fuck it was before they recently changed their name again. I think it was Impact, and they went back to TNA. Who the hell knows? But he was there for a long time. Had a bunch of really good matches. I think he's a great wrestler. Another guy. He's not a big dude, but he's good. He can move. He's strong. This should make for a good match. And Eddie is Eddie. So here we go. Willie's ready. Gets the quick jump. Oh boy, Eddie. You know, it would be interesting because I don't recall. Wow, Willie. A brain buster. Oh my God. I thought they were gonna let Willie get it.
So did I.
I was actually, the funny thing, Joe, is I was just gonna say, I don't recall in any eliminator, proving ground matches, whatever in AEW on Dynamite or Collision, if we've seen somebody win that proving match. We've seen people like, run the gauntlets, sort of different, in my opinion. So it would be interesting. Oh my goodness, Willie. I told you, Willie can fucking go, man.
Yes, he can.
So it would be interesting to see Willie win a proving ground match. Oh boy. Oh. Willie. Another 2 count for Willie. That's standing moonsault, huh?
Willie has engendered himself to me this evening. That is some good stuff.
Willie's fantastic. Shit, I forgot what we were talking about because now I'm just stuck on Willie, seeing what Willie's going to do next. Good showing for Willie. So, Joe, I know you were familiar with New Japan for some time when, Kenny, that's how you found Kenny and a bunch of these other guys. Will Ospreay, I know you saw him at Forbidden Door. Are you excited for him to make his way onto American television on a regular basis?
Absolutely. I was blown away by him, and just when you think that you've seen it all, he's shown me things that I've never seen before, and I am very excited to see what he can do full time here in AEW.
Well, it should be interesting. There's a lot of stories that he could tell in AEW.
It's true.
And the crazy thing too is that he's had to change the way he wrestles because of injury and age and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And he's been able to still, keep a successful, career when, sometimes those things don't always work out for guys. Oh, Willie, that was not the right move.
It's kind of like how we would see kind of like a starting pitcher. They lost their fastball, start working on some off-speed stuff, or if you can't run 5-6 innings anymore, well, you can still close out games, and there's plenty of different ways to skin the cat, and it's been something to see Ospreay continue to evolve.
Yeah, I mean, it should be phenomenal. His career in New Japan has been fantastic. There's a lot of competition and stories for him to tell in AEW. So it should be fun. Now, just jumping back to this, Joe, that I don't know, that standing backflip. I can't remember if moonsaults or shooting stars or forwards, backwards, whatever. But it looks like maybe when he was trying to do that standing backflip, maybe his knee gave out a little bit, and why he didn't get that extension, because he came up holding his knee.
Yes, he did.
And he looks like he's losing. I'm not trying to cover for Willie.
Big power.
Oh my goodness. That was not a great move for Willie to try to pull off. That power bomb was fantastic for the 2 count, though. But I just hope he didn't really fuck his knee up because he's gotten some time on AEW television and he's been part of Ring of Honor. So I hope he's not honestly hurt. I hope he was maybe doing that to cover for the fact that he fucked up. Well, both men are struggling to get to their feet here. Oh boy, Eddie's up and wobbly. So Joe, the other guy, and he's not coming to AEW, but the other guy, it seems like they sort of always go hand in hand, and his name tends to come up a lot in the conversation with best in the world of like Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr.
I enjoyed him too when I had opportunity to visit with you at Forbidden Door and watch him and Claudio get on it, as we mentioned before. I've got to catch more tape of Zach.
He's great, man. He's just utterly fantastic. Trading chops here. My God. Oh, no chop. Shot to the jaw. Willie, another right hand. My goodness. Blocks the kick.
Drop kicks. Stunner.
Insaguri to a stunner. Come on, Willie. Oh, my goodness.
Here comes the Mack truck. Let's do it.
Oh, my. It's amazing. Off the top. Oh. Now, who is that worse for? Eddie put the knees up and back fist to the future. 1, 2, 3. Who's the knees worse for there, Joe? Because Willie ain't a little guy.
No, and then I mean, your knee bone's connected to your thigh bones, which connected to your hips, and that could have been pretty bad for Eddie too on that one.
Sure could have, but Eddie retains. Well, the title wasn't online. This was an eliminator match, so Willie does not get
eliminated
his title shot. He is eliminated. But Eddie's still in his promo, sort of leading to this match. Eddie was sort of like to Danielson. He's still spitting at Danielson, saying good luck with Nagata. So it still looks like he wants more of Danielson because Danielson's kind of saying it was a fluke. Kingston just making his way out with all that gold.
And he's leaving with it too.
That's right. He is a fan favorite. It's amazing, Joe, when you go see Willie. I mean, we're in the area where I'm at in New Jersey. We're close to New York. He's from Yonkers, a New York guy. So the pops are always amazing. But it seems like anywhere Eddie goes, he gets a big pop. Oh, Danielson making his way out as Eddie's heading up the ramp. I don't know about you, Joe. I love this cocky attitude, Danielson. Doesn't even look
right past him, man.
We're gonna go right into this. They're announcing this match.
Yep.
Wow. Danielson Nagata coming up, but that's just fantastic. Eddie's still just staring at Danielson on the ramp before he goes down the tunnel. Like, did you really just do that?
Yep.
Eddie Kingston came back, or I'm sorry, they must not be at the announce table. Must be on the ramp tonight. So yeah, it looks like they are. So he's sitting down at commentary now. Eddie's going to join commentary. Look at him, the hardest working man, one of the hardest working men in AEW. One of the best promos. He's saying the King of the Bums beat one of the best in the world. And Yuji Nagata making his way out.
I'm here for this.
Straight from Japan, Yuji Nagata. This should be a fantastic match.
Mm-hmm.
Yuji Nagata. Spent time in New Japan. He did a WCW excursion. And then he's been back in New Japan. He's been there from 1998 to present.
Wow.
Yeah. His professional career, I believe, has been it starts in like 92 until now. So this guy's been going. He is 55.
Fifth longest reigning IWGP heavyweight champion.
So this should be fun. Danielson used to work in a style that's familiar with a lot of these New Japan, Japanese sort of strong style wrestlers. But it doesn't surprise me about Danielson, right? I mean, he seems to be able to go any style you put in the ring with him.
Indeed.
Can I ask you, Joe, do you like this braid look for Danielson?
I don't really think that I don't know that it does anything for me, but I guess it fits the character, though. He seems to be, as you mentioned earlier, rather cocky, and it seems to fit him. So,
yeah, he's just doing some of the best work of his career now. He's sort of, at the end of it.
mm-hmm.
He's saying this is the last year he's going to wrestle. But you know how it is. Never say never.
Never say never. And, I mean, gosh, even if he, works his way into the boardroom, or the writer's room, or working with young talent, he's quite the asset for sure. And I'd be curious to see too, what he could potentially do to assist with storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of these guys. It was so amazing to see him go from the WWE system to AEW, because you knew what he was capable of in his pre-WWE days. And again, great work in the WWE. Fantastic character work and wrestling, but the neck. They didn't want to take the chance. He has clearly showed that he can protect himself and others. I mean, he's been injured a number of times, but it's funny, those injuries were sort of due to I don't know about the eye, but I know like his forearm. He was like, that was just, I was in the wrong place. I've done that, taken that move off the top rope like 1,000 times, and I just was in the wrong spot and I got hurt. But he's just been doing fantastic work since he's been in AEW. And it's amazing to see how, since he's come over, he just seems to have that sort of life back and that love back for wrestling. Like, even when you see the post, pay-per-view media scrums that he takes part in, he seems to enjoy getting out there and talking to the people about what he's doing and enjoying his time in AEW. And it doesn't seem like it's just a guy who's thumping his chest doing the company line because he's got to. It seems like he just genuinely is loving what he's doing, which is what you want.
Of course. And as I said earlier, being that type of asset and being able to not only just say what the company line is, but seemingly say it with a straight face and mean it, it's refreshing, as opposed to him just sort of being a puppet or a parrot for Tony, which Absolutely. I don't think that he is by any stretch. I think he's just a genuine good guy.
It's amazing, Joe. We haven't really been talking about anything in this match, but it's been great.
Yes,
the God of work has been working the arm now. That I believe it's the arm that Danielson broke the forearm on. And I think they even just said this is the first time they've stood across the ring from each other, which is even more amazing.
I've liked what I've seen out of Nagata thus far this match. This is my first exposure.
Now I'm sure I've seen Nagata somewhere, like on a show I've seen, and I just listen. I'm not the kind of guy. I'm not like Big Money Matt from the Shining Wizards, who you could say like who wrestled on Survivor Series '98, and he can run the card.
Sure.
Like I'm not like that. So, like if I went to a show last week, you could probably be like, who was on that show? I'd be like, I gotta look it up, man. I just don't retain it. But yeah, the God has been doing this long enough. You expect that this will be, and it has been so far, a good match, and it's gonna have that sort of psychology in the ring that's gonna make sense. So working the arm, being really sort of strategic about what he's doing, it all makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
There's just like the picture in picture. I understand why we do it, but at the same time, like, okay, take a break, take a commercial break. It's okay. I mean, I just think that you can kind of tell that the performers know that okay, we're in picture. Let's rest hold, whatever. I get it, but my age is showing. Forgive me.
No. Listen, it's clearly like we're at the point where we know nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Although I think one time in AEW somebody did win a match in picture. Like it happened. And I honestly feel like they should do that every so often. Because it's sort of,
make sure that you don't take your eyes off.
You can't turn the channel. You don't know. But as we're in picture, they're continuing to go at it. The crowd looks like they're going wild in Your City, Louisiana. And this gives me a moment to at least ask you, Joe. So, I know we brought it up before football tomorrow. You feeling okay about that game? I know you said you're feeling a little worried as they come back from picture, but how you feeling about the game?
I think if they can run the ball and play the defense that they're capable of, I think that Detroit's offensive line is potentially a little banged up. I think that there's the chance that either their center or one of their guards may miss the game. So having 4 former first round draft picks on the defensive line for the Niners, that's tough to handle. I don't care who's on your offensive line. But Shanahan and his play calling makes me nervous too. I mean, 28-3. Everybody remembers 28-3, and he was the guy holding the clipboard in that game. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But I mean, I'm not happy, or I'm not, I guess, satisfied in terms of sitting on the edge of my seat or not until it says all zeros on that clock. I've seen way too many times talking about 28-3.
Yeah.
Where it's not over till the clock says so. So
well, it should be a fun day. Well, maybe not for you, but it should be a fun day of football for those watching tomorrow. They've been back from picture. Danielson's now working to God his knee. Thomas Gibbons also checking in again on Facebook. Thanks, Thomas. Saying he believes Nagata may have faced Mox during the Daily's Place lockdown, which could be true. But that would also depend on if Nagata was in the United States for some reason.
Sure.
He may have been if he was working with the LA dojo for New Japan. So we could verify that at some point, but I'm no good at Googling and talking at the same time.
Up top.
So Joe, just so you know, tomorrow, I'm in your corner for the football game.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Hammer and anvil elbows to Nagata, but he catches that arm again, and he's got it turned. Ooh.
I mean, it would still be a nice story if Detroit makes it to their first Super Bowl, though. I mean, I'm not, that dyed in the wool where I can't appreciate a good game or good competition. And it's a nice story if Detroit winds up making it to the Super Bowl. It's a really nice story. That
Sure.
city needs that type of stuff, man. The Tigers haven't been doing anything. The Red Wings haven't been doing anything. That'd be big for the city. They need that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm in your corner tomorrow, but I feel the same way as you, to be totally honest. Like, either team that comes out of that, I'm sort of okay with them going. I'm okay with them going to the Super Bowl. And you're right, it is a great story for Detroit. Oh boy, as we see Nagata going in. Ooh.
I'm in the crossface.
The arm trap, sort of. It's got the Danielson's not all the way locked in because Danielson is reaching up. He's got to get Nagata on his back.
Whoa.
Well, he's got Nagata's foot. Oh boy. Oh. He's working the knee with the heel hook. Danielson, that is. Sorry, pronouns, pal. Now I got to ask you, as Nagata is able to work out of that heel hook. How about the other game, Joe? Baltimore and Kansas City.
I think it comes down to the quarterbacks, and at the same time, with Mahomes and Kelsey on one side, it's Gronk and Brady all over again. It's very difficult to count out the Chiefs, but then again, outside of Mahomes and Kelsey, who can do anything on Kansas City? So I like Baltimore's chances, and I think I was reading too that Andrews, the tight end for Baltimore, may be back.
Yeah, I think they activated it. Yeah.
So big stuff there. That's a big piece for Baltimore to get back. And
who do you want?
I don't want to face either one of them. If the 49ers win, I don't want them to face either one of them. Hopefully they just hand the Niners a Lombardi trophy after tomorrow afternoon, but I know that's not going to happen. I think that whatever team winds up winning out of the AFC is just going to be coming in hot to the Super Bowl. I mean, and it's hard to pick, but if gun to my head, I'd probably give it back to Mahomes. Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Whoa, Nagata off the top rope with the exploder.
How about you?
I hate Kansas City, and it's got nothing to do with Taylor Swift. Although that annoys me. I get why they're showing her on TV. I get why it's a big thing for the NFL. But I don't like Mahomes. He's a great player, but I just don't. Something about him rubs me the wrong way. Maybe it was the ranting and raving about the referees calling the offsides penalty that led to their loss. And it was clearly a 1.5 foot off fucking sides.
Right.
But something about him rubs me the wrong way. So I don't love either one of those teams. But again, gun to my head, I'd rather see Baltimore get to the Super Bowl. And if that happens, the Illuminati have won. Would be what was already out there and predicted. 49ers, Ravens. Oh, dragon screw on Nagata on the bad knee.
Either way, though, if San Fran gets out of the NFC, it's a rematch, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No matter which way you slice it. And San Fran hasn't come out on the winning end of either of the prior matchups for the big game.
Yeah, well, you could say it. We're not promoting. You know the legalities around that.
Hey, got to make sure though. Don't want to
Right.
get ourselves into any trouble.
You're right. You're right.
Kicks from Danielson.
Oof. Kicks are vicious from both men. Oh, Nagata blocks the kick. Look, I am Joe. That was such a subtle thing that I loved with Danielson feigning the kicks and Nagata sort of flinching.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's fantastic. I don't know if I've really ever seen that. Uh-oh. There it is. Usaiku knee from Danielson on Nagata. 1, 2, 3, and we're done. Fantastic match.
Yes, it was.
Fantastic. The whole the matches have all been pretty good tonight, but we're escalating here, obviously. This was fantastic. And we've still got our main event, the 6-man cage eliminator match. Eddie's been great on commentary. I mean, we've been talking through it, but Eddie's fantastic on commentary. When he used to do the Dark Show commentary, that was fantastic. And he's just still excellent. I love what Eddie's saying now. They're saying, do you think Danielson's being disingenuous with Nagata? He's sort of pumping the crowd up. He's asking to shake his hand. Let's see if Nagata does it. I don't think Danielson's going to turn here. If he spits at him, now that's a different thing. He's been doing the spit thing lately.
Raises his hand.
All right. All's right in the world. But that's been fantastic. Is Eddie's saying, I don't think he's being disingenuous, but I know he doesn't like me.
Maybe a confrontation here.
We'll see. Danielson's heading up the ramp. Eddie's still sitting at commentary. Now, is Danielson going to spit at him? That's been his play lately.
Oh, he's going to flip him off instead.
Fantastic. Going backstage to Lexi. Let's see who she's got. He's with FTR. Talking about the attack on Daniel Garcia. Before he was bloody.
And Garcia's with these gentlemen in the cage match this evening. Is that right?
That's right. So, oh boy, Mark Briscoe rolling up. Mark Briscoe's maybe offering his services if DG can't go. That sounds like what's going on. FTR is basically saying we're going to let it be up to DG. So they will definitely reach out to Mark Briscoe if they need his help. But FTR also saying if they have to, they're going to go out 2-on-3 against the house.
That could be a mistake.
Well, house always wins. You know how that goes. Deeb is up next, which should be fun. Now, Joe, Deeb hasn't been in the ring with AEW since 2022. So she was hurt, and it was almost like we hadn't heard anything. And then, I don't know, a month or two ago, right before we started seeing like these montage videos or these video promos of her sort of coming back as the professor. She put something out on her socials basically explaining what's been going on. She was suffering from seizures, and like they sort of came out of nowhere. So she's had to work extremely hard to get back here. So this should be good. And as we were sort of saying before, as we were watching Mariah and Lady Frost, this is another win for their women's division because Deeb is a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her.
That's
So
fine.
I'm not even gonna try and pretend.
No, that's
I was just trying to read a little bit up on her, but just man, perseverance coming back from some type of epileptic issue. Man, you gotta love that resilience, and you just hope that, heaven forbid, nothing goes wrong. No bad botch job or anything along those lines, and she's able to
Sure.
continue with her career.
You'd assume they're going to be careful with her tonight. Now we don't know who her opponent is. I haven't seen anywhere who her opponent is. So my guess is this might be sort of short and sweet, keeping it sort of light. But if we know anything about AEW, it seems like their medical team is very careful about bringing people back before they're ready. Yeah, hopefully they are able to heat her up, because again, a lot of interesting ways for her to go. At one point she was feuding with Thunder Rosa, I believe. So now Thunder Rosa's back. Deeb is coming back. At some point too, Britt Baker's been off television for like almost all of 2023.
That's right.
She'll be back. Jamie Hayter is still hurt. I don't know what her timeline looks like, but she'll become, like, the embarrassment of riches that they have in this women's division is crazy.
It's a good time to be an AEW ladies wrestling fan for sure.
It has been hard times for wrestling as a women's wrestling fan for AEW. Oh, Brian Cage backstage with the lovely Renee Paquette. So Cage is asking about why people are asking about the FTW champion. Huh? Oh boy. He's also saying that he was the backbone of Team Taz. Now, Joe, do you remember before the Mark Order podcast when we were doing bonus content for not the Mark Order, the Shining Wizard? I was flying down to Florida every week during the pandemic.
You were?
Oh yeah, I was there live.
I remember.
Team Taz was huge. Oh, Hook rolls up and says, "Who better?" and points to himself. Brian Cage. For those who don't know, Brian Cage, that's his line. Who better?
Who better?
I actually when I sat ringside for one of the Friday Rampages that was live. Cage came out and I yelled, "Who better?" And he turned around and said, "Nobody, that's who." I was like, "You're right. You're absolutely right." Deeb making her way to the ring, flying her own flag. I like the Deeb's dojo. So let's see, who's she going to have tonight?
The professor of professional.
Oh, Robin Renegade. So the Renegades, Joe, it's Robin and Charlotte, I believe. They are twins.
How about that?
The problem is that at certain times they tried to pull, they were pulling that twin magic gimmick.
Sure.
But they're not even like
they are fraternal, not identical, is what you're trying to tell me.
They weren't necessarily identical, like you could sort of tell. But it's funny because the other ones, I can't remember their goddamn names from the WWE, but they used to be able to pull the twin magic because they did look identical until one got huge cans implanted in her chest. Then you couldn't really run that gimmick anymore.
Then it's like Schwarzenegger and DeVito. Twin.
That's right. Ooh, some technical wrestling here. I mean, we knew we were going to get that out of Deeb. Robin Renegade This is a good this will be a good showing for Robin Renegade if she can keep up with Deeb here. Deeb was I believe a women's trainer somewhere in the WWE system too. So she's got experience, and I think if Deeb is back and she can work with other women too, this is a big win for AEW.
Similar to, as I was mentioning earlier about Danielson, potentially.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Deeb escaping. What appeared to be a full Nelson? Wasn't a master lock.
No, certainly not. But yes, the full Nelson making an appearance here on Saturday Night Collision.
Do you remember the master lock and where that came from? Oh,
yeah, I believe that was Chris Masters, right? Similar situation, just a plain old full Nelson.
Yes, but you couldn't get out of it.
No, of course.
Here was the problem. Lock. That's right. Here was the problem though with Chris Masters. I believe he got popped for the old performance enhancing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So he went away for a little bit. When he came back, he was deflated.
Meanwhile,
I wasn't buying the whole master lock thing.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, Paul's running around looking like Paul does. But okay, makes sense to me.
Oh, this match has been really good. We've been talking about other bullshit, but Deeb, oh boy, Deeb has looked good.
Plant.
Deeb has looked really good. Fans are chanting for her, and now she's going to go to work on individual parts of the arm. Oh, she hooked the arm. She's smashing the knee.
Ooh.
This is vicious looking. Oh, there it is. The Serenity lock.
The old Russian leg bender. Here it is.
Well,
I thought after all that knee work, she was going to potentially put her in a sleeper hold.
Or maybe the ankle lock.
Who knows?
Serena Deeb with the microphone. Hold on. Serena Deeb's grabbing the microphone. Hold that thought. I want to hear what the Deeb's got to say. Maybe she's going to call somebody out. Maybe not. She might just be saying,
"Hi,
be back." Come on, Deeb. She's got a question for the crowd. She wants to know if they missed her. The crowd is going wild. She wants to know. Again, and they get louder. All right. Deeb's been off not off. Excuse me. She's been away for 15 months. She just said it. That's incredible. Sounds also like she didn't know if she was coming back, Joe. So that's pretty impressive. So she's saying it's good to be back, and I have to agree. It's good to have her back. Again, just expanding this women's division. The talent that they've got is now crazy good. They just have to keep the stories up. He's asking why she's here. That's the question. Let's hear it. She's back for one, to elevate the women's division. I like that. Like that. She's here to put wrestling back in All Elite Wrestling. I also like that. We like that. Why else, Serena? Tell us. She's here because she wants to become the champion. And I think she should get a run as champion. I like what Tony Storm is doing, don't get me wrong. But this is actually amazing, though. This crowd is really hot for her.
Yes, they are. It's a pretty good crowd tonight in Louisiana.
And not like New Orleans, like Bossier City. To be honest, I've never heard of Bossier City. Never heard of it. So she's putting the whole division on notice. which is awesome. Now, my guess is if she's sort of re-debuting here, excuse me, on the microphone. My guess is that since she's re-debuting on Collision, she's probably going to sort of stick with Collision. But they don't have that hard roster split, so we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. Oh yeah, they announced this too last night, Joe. They're doing a promo now that they're going to have some of the stars of CMLL coming over to AEW. So Volador Jr., Mystico, Mystico is gonna show up. Mascara Dorada, and Hechichiro. Or Hechicero, excuse me. No habla. But some of these guys, Joe, again, some of these guys I've seen wrestle at some of the New Japan shows that I've been to in DC and Baltimore and the 2300 Arena where WWECW first took place.
Sure. Here we go. Is it cage time? It's got to be.
It is cage time. Yeah, it's 9:30, man. We got to get this going. Trios escape the cage elimination match. So I'm hoping that they clarify what that means. Again, my guess, because I haven't really seen it, my guess is it's not truly escape the cage because they haven't really done that. My guess is just like you escape by, sort of just
by winning. You therefore escape. Yes.
Right. Surviving is the word I'm looking for, and I was having a brain fart, and I'm sober. So yeah, should be fun. I mean, listen, this show's been great. And again, you just said it. I just said it. The crowd's been really, really hot there in Bossier City, Louisiana. Maybe because I don't think they've run Bossier City. So we'll see. Now, the big question is Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I don't know if he will be out for this match. It's in the northwestern region. It's a city in the Bossier Parish. Maybe Bossier. In the Bossier.
Louisiana. It's like molasses is spilling out of your mouth. Do the Swedish Chef.
It's in the...
He's on Sesame Street, dumbass.
I've never heard of this place.
It's not close to New Orleans, right? If it's in the northeast?
It's in the northwest, and then that would mean no, because New Orleans is down on
the Gulf.
Right.
They almost were the Gulf.
Indeed. Yeah, they are not anywhere near each other.
Well, they AEW
opposite ends of the state. Interesting, though. It's good that they get there, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, AEW is going to be running New Orleans. I just don't know the date. Oh, this Wednesday.
Holy shit! What are the odds?
Well, they run different. They tend to run different wrestlers on both shows, so they don't always wind up in the same place. Like, okay, so tonight Collision's in Bossier City, Louisiana. They're going to be running New Orleans Wednesday. Collision Saturday is in Edinburgh, Texas. And then Dynamite Rampage on February 7th is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. So, like, they're not even close to each other.
Right.
But then Collision is going to be in Henderson, Nevada. You know what I mean? And then Texas for Dynamite. So, like, they don't always run that close to each other. But we'll see. All right, Joe. I'm sorry, Mr. Walsh. Main event. So here we go. FTR is making their way out. We're going to find out what's going on with Daniel Garcia. So they're saying it's an escape the cage trios match. Oh, they say all 3 members must escape the cage. Interesting, because they have not historically done that here. So Daniel Garcia is not coming out with them, Joe. He could get a separate entrance, but maybe not.
I think this could play to FTR's advantage, though. If they only have 2 and the House of Black has 3, and all the guys on one team need to get out, the numbers would then potentially be in FTR's favor.
Oh,
there you go.
Surprise. The
Sussex County
farmer.
chicken.
That's right. The Sussex County chicken farmer's making his way out. I wonder why they're switching up here. Oh, uh-oh. Lights go out, Joe. Shenanigans afoot?
Shady shenanigans.
Well, we know who's coming out when the lights go out. Oh, they're beating him down on the stage.
Oh, no.
Why you don't want to come out? Brody throws through the table. Now they're not even in the cage. My goodness. I was actually gonna pose, Joe, maybe that they've done this before not done this, but like where, I'm hurt, I'm gonna leave and then I'm gonna come back, right? Like MJF's done that before. Dax did that when we saw Forbidden Door, right?
Yep.
Dax hurt and comes out, comes back. I wasn't sure if maybe they're gonna do that with Garcia. That could happen now. They could be swerving us. Who knows? So they are all over the place right now. Nobody's in the ring. Oh, chairs. I should also mention, while we're sort of seeing this happen right now, last night on Rampage, there were 2 other matches. Takeshita defeated Christopher Daniels. They also cut a promo on Jericho, and Kyle Fletcher interrupted to say he wants Jericho in Phoenix. And then Anna Jay defeated Ruby Soho with the Queen Slayer for the victory. Don't know what else Ruby Soho has to do to get a win. But, they've got a table set up now. Oh, boy.
I mean, call me old-fashioned, but if it's a cage match, be in the cage. But what do I know? How many do you know off the top of your head?
Boy, here goes Brody. Why would you cut away from Brody? There you go. Okay.
You wouldn't happen to know just off the top of your head who else is on the Jericho cruise besides Jericho and Schlong, would you? I guess to your point about there potentially being different wrestlers, or usually different wrestlers on Collision and Dynamite, but with Collision being on tonight and then them going to Dynamite on Wednesday, and they're not that far apart from each other, at least they're staying within the same state. Do you suppose that a large contingent of the roster may be on the Jericho cruise, and therefore...
Oh, Joe, here comes... I hear what you're saying. I don't mean to cut you off. Here comes Danny Garcia, bandaged up. No, I hear what you're saying. There are definitely a number of people on that cruise. But here's the other crazy thing. Like Commander was scheduled to be on that cruise. He's clearly not.
Right.
Because he was there Wednesday night. They taped Rampage, so he wrestled Wednesday night, and unless they flew him to the boat and then he flew back for this, I don't think he made it on the boat.
Right.
But they're saying, now I went to the official Jericho cruise, page for this year, January 26th to the 30th, Miami to Cozumel. It says wrestling by Swerve Strickland, Orange Cassidy, again, unless Orange was there, wrestled, and then they flew him off the boat or wherever they were in Mexico, if they got to Mexico already. Penta, Don Callis, Will Hobbs, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, Sky Blue, Danny Garcia, Vikingo, Prince Nana, Deanna Perrazzo, Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Taya Valkyrie, Lance Archer. Oh boy.
Here comes Cash.
Cash is up in the air. This is crazy.
This is crazy.
Oh my God. Is there anything okay, I paused there because is there any way you would ever do that?
No, I'm deathly afraid of heights. Being 6'3", that's high enough for me.
You're already high up enough. That was wild. Tay Valkyrie, Lance Archer, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Commander, Abaddon, Johnny Cruz, which is Johnny TV.
Yep.
Nick Wayne, Action Andretti, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Colt Cabana, Aubrey Edwards, Christopher Daniels, Luther, Harley Cameron, Toa Leona, Bishop Kahn, Layla Gray, Alex Abrahantes, and the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum.
So there is a pretty big contingent on that boat.
There is, but again, what's crazy is I don't know. There is the ability to get people off the boat. Like you can hypothetically land a helicopter on one of those boats.
Sure.
But for the number of talent that had to be here tonight, like Orange Cassidy and Commander were on this show. So if it was just the two of them, that's fine.
But you said Garcia as well.
Did I say Garcia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you said Cassidy, Commander, Vikingo, and granted, Vikingo's not on Collision tonight, but
right, he was there. He was there Wednesday night. I don't think I said Danny. I said Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Taya, blah 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 blah. So Christopher Daniels. I don't see Daniel Garcia on this. But either way, there is a possibility for people to show up. Maybe I said it by mistake. But he's not on the list I'm seeing. Also, special guests, Bully Ray, Devon, Jerry Lynn, Ultimo Dragon, Matt Cardona, Gangrel, Marcus Bagwell, Steph DeLander, the Mountie Jacques Rougeau, Bushwhacker Luke, Giselle Shaw, Speedball Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, Misty Hyatt, Danielle Moynet, Michael Oku, Dave LaGreca of Busted Open, and then music by Fozzy.
As though there was ever a doubt.
The amount of times that Jericho's performing, let's see, Fozzy, the Foos Fighters, Quarantine, that's a Jericho thing.
So what is he doing? Just he's on this boat and all he does is wrestle and sing?
I don't know. They're also doing podcasts. The Talk is Jericho is doing one. Don Callis Busted Open award presentation. RJ City was doing stand-up comedy. So, listen, I'll say this because they talked about it last year. I've talked about it before. As we're in a commercial break, we're about to come back. But I don't think you could pay me to get on this boat.
I don't think you can pay me to get on a cruise ship ever again. I went on a cruise when I was 7 years old. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. It was a Disney cruise, in fact. But just all the unfortunate horror stories during COVID and then everybody getting food poisoning on boats and I mean, yeah, you are outside, but I don't know. Not for me.
Well, me and Mrs. Money did one last September 23. It was good. We might be doing one with the boy this year on the Disney boat. He's been asking to go back to Disney, and we're actually like, it's probably cheaper to just do the cruise.
You're probably right on that one.
Because the food is included. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll say that's the reason for me, Joe, as oh boy, Buddy Matthews. The reason I say that is because it's even like Mrs. Money's asked me about like some of the like metal cruises and stuff like that, like the 70,000 tons of metal or whatever.
Sure.
I don't want to be surrounded by a group of people who are uber into whatever it is. I don't necessarily love being at a metal show, hardcore show, whatever, for those people who are super, super into the scene, because I find them very annoying. Like, to me, it would be like being surrounded by 1,000 Jose Mangans 24/7. And it's the same thing for a wrestling cruise. Even though Schlong and Kate said last time, like, oh, you can get away, you can escape, and most of the people are sort of awkward and blah, 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 because, wrestling fan. No, nope, I'm not chancing it. Like, I don't want to have a wrestling conversation 24 hours a day for 4 days.
Understood.
I also
Is
don't.
Kate on the boat as well?
Yes. Which is probably why she's not here. Like, she'd be here anyway.
Right.
I'm just going to bury everybody. I don't care. That's what I do. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Not your day to work.
I'm not even supposed to be here. Joe, the other thing about this, as FTR standing tall in the ring with Danny Garcia,
missed high five.
I enjoy. Oh, he's saying let's not exit the ring. FTR was going for the door, and Danny's saying let's take it to him. Which is interesting. Danny wants to punish him anyway.
Cloverleaf by Garcia.
Yeah. Oh, big rig on the shatter machine. Excuse me, not the big rig.
Double clothesline.
Dude, Brody's the shit.
Ooh.
Also a big fan of Brody's work outside the ring with God's Hate.
Not familiar.
Hardcore man. Oh. Is Brody going to go through this cage?
Would that count as...
That's an escape if you ask me. Dude, Buddy Matthews. Oh. Can't get the sound. Dude, Buddy Matthews and Malachi's kicks look like they can kill people.
Agreed.
Trading blows, my God. I totally forgot what we were talking about prior to this. But
a Ghostbuster by Dax. Good old Coco Beware drop you on your head.
Joe, do I have also, is there anything we can add on to my dispute list of this interfered with my regularly scheduled mealtime? I haven't even eaten yet.
Yeah, I had some mac and cheese, but the hunger pangs are starting to come. So 10 minutes is all in due time. Looking forward to it myself. I think the lack of notice, and if the notice isn't provided to you in a timely fashion, your rate needs to increase commensurately with the lack of notice. I wish there was a way that we could have gotten you on the boat, despite what you had just made mention of, being in and around so many that just want to talk to you about one thing. But yeah, I understand. I'm trying to think what else we could potentially give him a hard time about, but
Brody, my God. Dax makes his way out of the ring, and then Brody comes through the door. I mean, the door was still open, but he flew headfirst through the door. So Dax is out of the cage. Brody's out of the cage. They're going to take a break here. It's 2-on-2, still in the cage. Dax and Brody are dead on the outside. My God. I mean, you and I, Joe, can certainly sit down. And I understand that this is billable hours for you. I'm okay. I'm okay to pay. You know me, I'm good for it.
That's right.
We could sit down and come up with a list of things that this impacted for me.
Of course. I think that, in the future you should, I think maybe we should have your contract written out on 8.5 by 11-inch paper, as opposed to the front and back of a bar napkin, but
that's probably my mistake.
My printer was out of ink. I'm sorry, bro.
But you did read it.
I did.
You signed off on it.
Sure. Briefly.
I should have checked your. Maybe I should have checked your paperwork. I trust you.
So,
hey,
did Dax?
Go ahead.
Dax,
sorry.
I was going to say, did Dax get back in the ring, or is that still just Garcia and Cash?
Still Garcia and Cash, still Malachi and Buddy. So it's still 2-on-2 in picture. Joe, I was gearing up to ask, the NHL Stadium Series is coming up.
Where is it this year?
So they're doing MetLife.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, MetLife. Giant Stadium.
Sure.
The Devils are going to be playing the Flyers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the Rangers are playing maybe the Islanders.
Oh, that's fun. When is
I don't care about the other teams.
No, of course.
I don't know, but I looked for tickets for the Devils game. It's not that it's sold out. They're fucking expensive.
I'm sure.
My question though to you is going to be, have you happened to see the Devils Stadium Series jerseys?
I just looked to see when the Stadium Series is going to be, but those sweaters are sharp, black and red, very nice.
Believe it or not, I generally don't like when they change the logo. Oh my God. The flying knees on Garcia. Garcia landed on Cash. Oof. These four men are down again. So anyway, I generally don't like when they change the look of the Devils logo. Like I don't like those black jerseys that say Jersey on them.
Oh, come on. Have some fun, would you?
I like the listen. It's not just because I'm from New Jersey. That Devils logo is maybe my favorite in all of sports. It's just a great logo.
It is. I'm laughing at Mr. Gibbons.
Tom Gibbons checking in, saying could add in the contract more of the product from the company that made the Ghostbuster fluff. Oh, Tom, are you referring to the Nutty Nostalgic, the High C, the not High C, the Ecto Cooler flavored spread? Because it's weird, but I do enjoy it. Oh, Joe, look at this. Buddy Matthews and Cash Wheeler going over the top.
Gonna fight on the side of the cage.
Tom confirmed that he is talking about the High C spread. I would take that, Joe. And if
I have not found that, where is that? Is this real?
Yes, it's a company called Nutty Nostalgic. They make all sorts of spreads. It's sort of like cake frosting.
Okay.
But it's in like a peanut butter jar. Oh, Cash through the table. So he's out. And it looks like Buddy can just drop down and escape the cage. Uh-oh. Dax is lurking too by my buddy. So Joe, it's called Nutty Nostalgic, and they do all sorts of stuff. Like they do like all different sorts of spreads, like a PB Max spread, which was that old candy.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now.
They don't
This is
always have the
crazy.
Ecto Cooler spread, but oh boy.
Oof.
All right. Well, that table wasn't set up far enough or close enough. But Buddy is out. Now it all comes down to Garcia and Malachi Black here. Danny's trying to get up the side of this cage here. They've got 4 minutes left unless they run over tonight. Oh, Danny Garcia gets caught with the knee. So Joe, the Ecto Cooler spread might not be available right now. They do it in cycles sometimes, or that might have just been a limited thing.
Right.
But perhaps if that's in the contract, if it's not available, they have to pay, an additional premium on top.
Of course.
The cost of the spread plus a percentage.
I forget who it was, but there was somebody who.
Ooh, Danny trapping the knee.
I think there was a comedian or a band or a musician or something that in their rider, in order to make sure that whoever was booking them at the venue, in the rider there was a provision that in a 1980s LJN wrestling figure would need to be placed in the person's dressing room. I don't know who this was. I can't remember who it was, but it was like the act's specific way of ensuring that, hey, you actually read the contract.
Right.
But this person doesn't care for wrestling and never did. It was just this obnoxious thing to include in the rider to see if the person, the booker, was actually paying attention.
Well, and even you would assume if they're reading it and paying attention, if they were like, I can't provide that, they would have sent the contract back saying, we have to take this out. And at least
right.
They know. Because, oh no,
Julia.
Julia blackmisted Danny Garcia. Is he going to be affected? Dak's getting in her face now. So Joe, I know when I was in college and we had booked some bands to play the school. Like our school couldn't provide alcohol to the band, so they would always cross it out. But I remember one year we said specifically to them, like, hey, they asked for like a 12-pack of tube socks, right? Just leave it in. We were like, we'll get it for them. Leave it in. So we, some of the weird stuff that they ask for. And then, at the end of the day, it's like they didn't take the tube socks. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
They took the deli platter. They didn't care about the tube socks, Malachi was ready to escape the cage and decided to stay back in. There's a chair in there now. I guess it was passed in from the turnbuckle. Malachi Black. Oh, misses the black mass. Garcia. Oh, with the pile driver on the chair. Come on, Garcia. Get up, you son of a bitch.
Always love the pile driver. I'm glad that AEW allows their performers to use the pile driver.
Yeah, they trust them. They're big boys and girls.
That's right.
Just speaking of rider stuff, there is, I've heard rumors of comedian Eddie Griffin requires a pair of Air Force Ones at every venue he plays.
Interesting.
Oh, Mark Briscoe slams the door.
I was going to ask about Mark.
Space. And he escapes.
Wow. Briscoe saving the day.
That's right. FTR and Danny Garcia win this match. They escape the cage, despite all the setbacks, against the odds, perhaps.
celebrating with the fans. This is something else.
I would love, though, to see not FTR, excuse me, House of Black win like a meaningful feud here. But you beat down the chicken farmer, he's going to come back and bite you, even though he's missing a lot of teeth.
That's true. This is true. Julia, not very happy with the result.
Danny Garcia dancing next to FTR. Wednesday night Dynamite. A big show coming up Wednesday night. The faces are celebrating. And that's it. Fade to black. This one's over, folks. Joe, I thought it was a fantastic episode of Collision.
I did as well. I'm glad that you had the foresight to bring me in for the evening. It was a lot of fun. And wow, I'm really pleased about that Danielson match. That was something. And I wish the cage match, there was some more time spent in the cage. It seemed a little silly at the outset, but all in all, it was a really good show. Really good show.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that they had the card stack too. It escalated all night, and the crowd was really into it. So, Collision, a nice night. Now, they're obviously competing against another show, so who knows how their ratings are going to look. But I can tell you this. I had fun watching this. I had fun being here with you. And I think we have ironed out some next steps for me, because clearly I should never have been here. I'm too big for this.
Couldn't agree with you more. But the first thing we got to iron out is you paying your invoice.
Don't worry. I will certainly pay. I am not a welcher.
There you go.
But before we get out of here, Joe, and again, thank you for being here. This was a ton of fun. You and I don't get to do this a lot.
No.
So I'm glad. And you know what? We didn't actually say this to front. Joe and I have known each other for a long time. And we've watched wrestling for a long time, and we talk about it all the time, but we've never really had a chance to do this. So that's why this was fun tonight and special for me, even though I wasn't supposed to be here, but I know I've got the good guys on my side. So this was a lot of fun. And just closing on the Rider talk, Thomas Gibbons saying here, from an interview from Foo Fighters had put some strange things in their Rider, just to put them because they knew people usually don't read them. That's usually how it goes.
Indeed.
So, Joe, I don't know if you have anything to plug, but if you'd like to say anything in your closing moments before I get to some of our business, please feel free. Floor is yours.
Nothing to plug tonight, other than the Mark Order podcast. I enjoy listening to you folks, and I've made some good friends with the hosts and in the chat. So hope you guys continue to check back in and watch along when there's watch along, and when there aren't watch along, check out the Dynamite post show on Wednesday nights.
What a great segue, Joe. Thank you so much. I will plug our socials at Mark Order Pod. You can always get your reminders at our socials on Twitter or X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, at Mark Order Pod. Follow us on all those. Helps us out greatly. And also you'll see reminders for all the shows, and also other stuff we've been putting up lately. Asian Joe, when he shows up to work, has been cutting video shorts together for us, and we've been putting them out on our socials. Ryan, when he's not too busy being on a boat, is usually interacting a lot on Twitter. So make sure you're following us there. And as Joe said, you can find us every Wednesday night on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live, and Twitter when we do our Dynamite post show at 10:15 p.m. Eastern with the crew, where we break down what happened on Dynamite that night and everything else happening in the world of AEW. And of course, this, our newest program, the AEW Mark Order Podcast Saturday Night Collidercast, where we actually watch along. But you guys know that you've been watching. So if you haven't checked out the Wednesday show, please be sure to do that. And you could find us on any of your podcast platforms and listen to us in audio form. iHeartRadio, Amazon, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Stitcher, all over the place. If you're following us on podcast form, we thank you for that. Make sure you subscribe, like, rate, review. It helps us out greatly. And if you do listen to us in the podcast form, you've never watched us on video, head over to our YouTube. You can look up the Mark Order Podcast, and all of our video feeds live there for you to catch up on in the archives. We have everything from our Wednesday night shows, some bonus shows we've done, as well as the new Saturday Night Collidercast. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 in 2024. We're sort of talking about ways we can turn that into a contest. There have been talks, win a date with Kate, but there's also talks about us sweetening the pot with something else. So make sure you subscribe. It helps us out, but also you'll get, be able to sign up for notifications when we're going live and all that kind of stuff. Last thing I'm going to plug, if you go to any of our social platforms, there's a link tree. Click on the link tree and you'll find a link to our Pro Wrestling Tee store. My esteemed legal counsel, Joseph Walsh Esquire, is wearing one of our shirts. He went to the link tree, or maybe he went to prowrestlingtees.com/MarkOrderPod, or maybe he just searched the Mark Order Podcast on Pro Wrestling Tees. He found our store. He ordered a t-shirt. We've got 4 of them there, 2 front prints, 2 double-sided prints. Pick the one you like. Any money you spend there comes back to help the Mark Order Podcast put on all of our shows, because believe it or not, this does cost money. We thank you to anybody who's already bought a shirt, and we thank people who are going to buy a shirt in the future. So, Joe, that being said, I never do this. You can follow me too at AntMoney on X, at AntMoney247 on Instagram. Follow everything else I'm doing in the outside world that's not necessarily wrestling related, music and other bullshit. So feel free to give me a follow and interact. Joe, as I said before, we're getting out of here, but a pleasure doing this with you. A ton of fun. Hopefully we can do some more of these in the future. Not necessarily a Saturday night. That's against the contract.
That's not in the future. Definitely not anymore on the Saturday. But yes, it was a pleasure and a privilege. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and check us out in the future. Thanks again.
For sure. So we will see you on another Collidercast. Thanks for everybody for checking us out and chatting to us. Eric Freeds for checking us out. Kyle K. Sparks, Thomas Gibbons for chatting along through the night. We will see you guys on Wednesday night after Dynamite goes off the air. And we appreciate your support. Joe, enjoy the rest of your night. We're getting out of here.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.